Hello and welcome to the Beneverse. And today we are talking Raya and the Last Dragon, Disney's recent release on Disney Plus. It had a small theatrical release as well, but obviously with COVID going on, it was primarily released on Disney Plus. I got to see it on Disney Plus a few days ago, and I am just really excited to talk about it. I'm Ben Friedman, and let's just jump into this review. And if you see it, I have my notes right here. So if you just kind of see me looking down left or right, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But let's just start with the directors, Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada. Carlos Lopez Estrada directed Blind Spotting from 2018. Don Hall directed Moana and the Winnie the Pooh animated movie from 2011. And this is where I want to start my talk about it, because I think these two really have an eye for animation and for getting the most out of a story and just creating something wholly unique and special. And that's what Raya and the Last Dragon is. It is wholly unique, special, and beautiful to watch. And are there some flaws with this film? Yes. Specifically, does some of the story beats go a little too fast, or some of the worlds develop but not given enough time to really just get to live in there and get to know these characters and these worlds and these different cultures represented in the film Raya the Last Dragon? Yes, they are. And I do think this film would have actually worked better as a limited series on Disney Plus. But regardless, with this movie that we're given, there needs to be a lot of credit to Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada just for what they're able to capture, the wonder that they are able to instill in the film, and to truly just capture something so beautiful and so beautifully animated. Animation's, I think, the hardest genre, not genre, but hardest style of films to make. And I really do just feel like they knock it out of the park here. And praise also needs to be given to the main cast, which includes Kelly Marie Tran, Aquafina, and Gemma Chan. In particular, Kelly Marie Tran and Aquafina share this great chemistry and back and forth throughout the character. Kelly Marie Tran stars as Raya, who's this girl who goes on this mission with the Last Dragon, who's played by Aquafina. And I'm not the biggest Aquafina fan, but I'd credit due where credit is owed. She knocks it out of the park in this film. She is so funny. She is so charming. She's so heartfelt. She is able to take that emotion, mix it with humor, mix it with lighthearted jokes, and is just really encompasses this character that I think really makes it a classic. To me, her performance had shades of Robin Williams in Aladdin or Dwayne The Rock Johnson in Moana, where they're able to take this role and it sounds exactly like that actor, but they're able to infuse their personality and style of comedy and larger than life persona and put it into this character. And Aquafina just does that in a really brilliant way that is truly special. And mixed with Kelly Marie's trans back and forth with her, it gives this friendship that feels genuine, that feels heartfelt, that feels loving, and that feels real. These two characters feel like they are friends. That really helps the story go along. And with Gemma Chan, who plays the villain in this film, I think she's really good at being menacing, but also you get an understanding of who this character is and why she is this way and what her history is and how it relates to Raya and the dragon. There's a lot of things brilliant about this film. Again, animation in this film is just stunning. The vibrant colors, it's so beautifully animated, and especially in its cinematography. The action is just wonderful, and this film has a plethora of action that is all well choreographed. And in animation, I think that can be so hard to do because you don't have that physical weight to some of the action, but they're able to capture action that feels exciting, that feels kinetic, and that feels grounded in the reality of this story. And I think the directors and the animators are able to do this in a way that feels special, unique, and really just pushes the animation style forward. That's one of the things I love about Raya. This feels inventive in its animation. You've never seen animation like this, whether it's the textile from the cloth that you see, whether it's the water effects, whether it's the fur on the dragons. It's just so beautifully done. And speaking of the dragons are some of my favorite animated items in this movie because they are so different from other animated films. We don't get to see dragons that look like this, and it's wholly unique to this film and just really special. These designs of these dragons are done by brilliant artists who are able to bring something that most people know or have an idea of what they look like in their head and add it to make it feel their own and fit the world and culture of this movie, which is something I quite enjoyed. And speaking of other things I enjoyed, I just wanted to hit on a few more. It is a touching story about forgiveness and about friendship. And it really does hit those themes hard in a way that a kids movie should, because the message is broad enough, but it's also going to speak to people older like me who are able to appreciate that message. And the humor is perfect because, again, it speaks to people like me, where there's a little bit more sophisticated humor, definitely with the character of Aquafina, but there's also broad humor for children that they're going to connect to. And there's special praise to these characters. I'll just say it involves a baby, and some of the humor involved with that baby is just so hysterical and so brilliant writing that it's just impressive to see how it manifested in the film and how they developed it. And they don't repeat the joke over and over again, but they sprinkle it in enough that it still feels completely original in the story. And final praise I really want to give was to composer James Newton Howard's score. It's able to capture this feeling of East Asia, which is where this film is supposed to be, or what this film is supposed to be represented. I do not know, and I apologize if there's a certain country that it is, but I thought it was kind of speaking for East Asia broadly. Again, that might be a mistake, so if it is, I apologize, but I think he's able to capture a lot of that sound and music really well, and he's able to have that energy to the music that makes the world feel vibrant, lived in, and just powerful. It's this definitely in the scenes of action where the music intensifies and you can really just hear Howard's score come to life. It really brings this film and adds and raises the stakes. And there's a lot brilliant about this film and a lot to love about Raya. Again, I kind of said it early on where I think this film is a little too fast paced for its own good. And that definitely comes with a lack of story development and character development, where you just see these characters and you have to just go with them on this journey, but you don't get much time to know them. There's too many characters, so you just don't get to spend as much time as you'd like with these characters. And in particular, you feel this fast-paced nature when it comes to the kingdoms. There's these different kingdoms that are seen in the film, and you go to a few of them, and they're beautifully animated. They're beautifully drawn. They each have their own distinct culture and world within them, but yet you just don't get enough time to experience them. So you're in it and it's in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out for multiple scenes throughout the movie. And that's an issue because you want to spend more time. You want to know these worlds. You want to dive into this world. And that was one of the big issues. This film left me wanting more, which is a good complaint for a film, but because it gives them somewhere to go in the sequel. But in this film which they present, you just wish you got more of it. And because it makes those scenes feel a little less important because you just know that they're going to the next scene. These worlds and these cities don't have as much meaning to them as they could if they expanded it further. Some of the other issues I had were certain plot points happen too fast. Again, we're talking about pacing, and this film does struggle with that. The pacing of this film can either go way too fast or way too slow at times. It's way too slow, I think, particularly in the ending of the film, which I don't want to give anything away, but the conclusion of this film has moments that, while are sweet and are, again, it's impossible to criticize the animation in this film, but there are moments where things are just happening too quick and there's not enough resolution. And in the conclusion, there's things that just happen and feel a little bit too repetitive to the story or don't feel earned. In one particular instance, without spoiling, there's one character's arc who doesn't feel fully earned by the end of this film. So there are some issues with Raya and the Last Dragon, and there are some things that I wish they were able to take. I wish they were able to slow down this story. I wish this honestly felt like it could have been a trilogy story with kind of in the same style of Lord of the Rings, where this, because it has that same epicness to the story. This has that same grandeur, and we could have gotten more of that. Think of an Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, again, I said Lord of the Rings. Think of series like that. Think of a Star Wars. It has that same interest in world mythology that you could really explore, but yet they have to go through it in one film. I wish they had given this and said, this is going to be a trilogy with this same story arc, but we get to really explore each kingdom, each world, each culture, and dive into it. And I think it really could have been something just wholly unique in the animated world, something Disney really could have done and really used. And I think it would have worked for both children and adults. But regardless, this is the film we got, and it's a damn good, enjoyable film. And I'm going to recommend this film. If I had to give it a review, I think I'm going to go 4 out of 5 stars here. It is truly a really special film, and I really hope to see more from this Raya and the Last Dragon universe. But anyway, have you seen the film? Let me know in the comments. And as always, hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, on the Beniverse, www.bentothemovies.com for see more reviews, and more is coming out on YouTube. Guys, if you like this, like and subscribe. Follow me on all those social medias, and let me know what else you want me to review. So thank you guys. Take care and have a good day.